Greetings and salutations. Welcome to Ref the District, and coming in right at the wire, it's our man Trev. I'm Nathan. That's Stoner. Trev's coming off of Football Garbage Time. Make sure you check him out on that particular content there because he is amazing as always. Brings the fire just like he does right here for us on Ref the District, episode 87. If my math checks out, I think my math is good there. And we've got a good show for you today. Unable to secure an Eagles fan. I'm surprised no one wanted to come out for that, but that's not a problem. We do have somebody lined up for the day after reckoning, and I'm so hoping this game goes our way so we do not get a gloating Eagles fan on the channel. More on that as we get closer to that. But we are going to be wrapping up our talk on Detroit and also the things that have happened this week, to include Ed Jersey in the Hall of Fame and Carson Wentz, his revenge game against Philadelphia will take up the entirety of the game today. And then we're going to cool down with, of course, some Dolla and a certain billboard that's got our attention. All that's coming up here on Ref the District. Trev, you were pretty busy on Monday, so you were not on the reckoning. And we did have people wanting to know your opinion on that Detroit game. Can you give it to us real quick?
Ugly AF. I mean, just flat out ugly. I'm not so sure that it's on the coaching just yet. I know I might have said that during the game or right after the game, but I took some time to think about it. Can't just blame on the coach just yet. It looks like we're just confused and we're just we're very undisciplined on defense. Missed tackling, bad positioning, not communicating, looking confused. And then the offense is just, we got to wake up at the beginning of the game. We can't start like we did in Detroit for the rest of the season. Can't take a half to get going. We got to come out getting going, ready to go, and make adjustments right then and there. I know it's easier said than done. We're not the coaches, but that's my opinion. I'm not freaking out. Season's not done.
No, we're 1-1. Season's still young. If you predicted 8 to 9 wins, we're still on the way for that. Yeah. I think most people who were kind of upset, I mean, these were the bottom 2 teams. You had to come back against Jacksonville. You got really stomped against Detroit, and that game felt way worse in the moment than what it actually was. Yeah,
I was going to say that it looked really bad. The way we lost, I think, is what really upset me the most. Not the fact that we lost, it's just the way we lost.
Yeah, and on the offense, Trev, I talked about this on Monday's Reckoning. It's just streaky, and it was streaky during the Jacksonville game too. You came out hot, you went cold, and then you got hot again there in the fourth quarter. In this case, they had spent the whole first half cold, lots of 3-and-outs, and then second half got hot. And so you're right, you've got to find some kind of balance there. Stoner, my man, you've been really on the side of the team and talking about it and trying to keep people level-headed. You know, where are you going? Don't touch the Eagles just yet, but where are you going right now as far as like heading into this Eagles game?
I mean, it's 2 games. We're losing our minds over 2 games.
It's because we all got Ashburned again somehow, somewhere.
Not yet. But I mean, it's only 2 games now. Could they lose every single game after this? Of course, but they could also win every single game after this.
16-1 until we find out otherwise.
Yeah, that's right. We don't know who the team is yet, right? We don't. Yeah, we don't have an identity yet.
No.
So give it some time. We can't be. We can say, oh, Jack Del Rio has a track record. Ron Rivera has a track record from years past or whatever. But they've also showed during the course of their career, they've shown that they can make adjustments. They made adjustments last year. And you could say it was too late when they made adjustments, but they did. And then we had like a 7-game stretch there where the defense was outstanding. But it was also mostly because they were playing bad quarterbacks during that stretch. Well, guess what? They're still playing bad quarterbacks. Not all of them, okay? But they're still going to play the majority of bad to average quarterbacks. So give it some time, and in 5 or 6 or 7 weeks, it's still going like this, then we can start making judgments on the season and how it's going.
I think that's fair. I'm going to shift. Both of you talked about the coaching. One of the things Ron Rivera came out and said was he actually started praising some of the defensive players that did have a better game. One of those was someone who's been very much in the spotlight, and that's Jamon Davis. What did you make of the comments that he made, Trev, as far as kind of backtracking a little bit on the Davis talk, but then kind of talking up his players rather than challenging him, as a lot of people were seeing Jack Del Rio's and Ron's comments to Davis before the game?
I think he's talking too much.
Well, he gets asked questions, right?
Yeah, I know he does.
But he doesn't questions.
I mean, he doesn't really have to answer. He doesn't really have to name players. He could say, "I thought a couple of our linebackers, whatever." But I mean, maybe he looked at the tape. He looked at the tape again and broke it down even more than he did right after the game. I guess he figured out, Jamon did really have a good game, so I guess that's why he said it to list off to be a part of the list he named off after practice today. But this whole Jamon Davis drama is. Man, it
feels like same old Washington.
How to get started? Jack Del Rio blasted Jamon Davis in public, and they asked Jamon Davis about the blasting, and everything was cool. Then you play the game, and then Jamon Davis goes on Instagram, makes that post with the criticism thing from Django Unchained movie scene. Then he deletes it. People have already seen it. All the media have seen it.
And fellow teammates had liked it.
Yeah. Yep. All that happened. And then now he puts Jamon Davis in the group that has done well in the last game that he thought whatever. So it's like.
How old is Jamon Davis?
Probably 22, 21.
He's
23.
He's very young. Yeah.
He's a kid. He's a child. And if you call him out publicly.
He's not a child, bro. Ain't no children.
You know what I mean? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
he is
what
young.
Were you doing?
He is
what
very
were you doing
young.
At 22 and 23? I mean, you were an idiot, right?
How dare you? My mom watches this show. I was an idiot. I know.
Trev, just take it as a compliment because that means you've grown. If he's saying you were, right? It means you're no longer.
No, I know what you mean. Of course, he's going to go to social media and do stuff like that.
And also he's gonna take it bad. He's not going to understand how to take criticism. The people out in the world who are saying, "Oh, be a man. You're being challenged. You're playing terrible. Step it up. You're getting paid millions of dollars." He's not that way. He's just a kid whose boss has just told the world that he sucks. So he's gonna lash out that way, right? So that all started
21-year-old way of doing it, very, very early 20 way of doing it there on Instagram.
Well, Justin Bieber was a 16-year-old billionaire, and look at all the stupid ass stuff he did, peeing in restaurants and all that other stuff. So I mean, that's what kids do. Right? That's what they do.
I'm not sure what's going on there on the bottom half of the screen, but it's hilarious.
If somebody embarrasses you in public, your boss, for the entire world to see, and telling people that you
I'm going
suck
social
at your
media
job,
right now. Yeah.
You're gonna be pissed.
Yeah, Trev's already tweeted out, "Stoner called me an idiot."
That's right. Said you were an idiot when you were
already got that out there. I want to give a shout out to those people in the chat already here. We got Doug, we got Corey, we got Yam, we got Guts Bus in there, and we got Grandizer jumping on there. Even if you do assists and cheer on for a different team, we appreciate you coming in here. My mom's in there. Shout out to my mom. Singing. And then
where's Mama Stores been? She doesn't show up anymore? She doesn't love us anymore?
She watched Day After Reckoning.
Oh, okay.
Metaphors in there saying cry me River Stoner.
I'm not saying that he's wrong for doing it and he should just, cash his checks and go party and enjoy yourself and not worry about it. But that's not how a 22-year-old thinks. Metaphor, I guarantee you Metaphor is not 22 years old. Metaphor is somebody older that says he should be able to suck it up. Well, you suck it up when you're older because you understand it better. But when you're 22, you just don't get it. You're just pissed off and you want to lash out. Yeah. So I totally get it. But if JDR hadn't done it in the first place, none of this would be an issue.
Or if Jamon Davis would have played like the number 19th pick he was, this all wouldn't have to happen. So it's really Jamon Davis's fault. Full circle.
Kind of, yes.
There definitely needs to be some accountability on the player aspect, and that is definitely something that we're going to be talking about. You correctly called it. Metaphor is 48 going on 19. Exactly. I was about to say, Stoner's out here. He's calling Trev an idiot. He's calling Metaphor old. I'm man, you're just out here just dialing it up.
Hey, man, I've been on fire the last couple of days with my hot takes. Like, I'm just going to say, I don't block people unless, they're offensive or whatever. But I've unfollowed quite a few people this last couple of weeks.
There you go. Little timeline cleanse.
Little timeline cleanse, because I'm not having some of the takes that people have.
Sometimes it's very important as adults.
I unfollowed RG3.
Step away from the toxic kind of mindsets, or the people that kind of, if you're getting angry going on social media, then you just need to get off social media. Like just get rid of it. Be a Joey Burrow and delete everything aside from YouTube.
Now watch them go win 10 games in a row.
Subscribed here to Ref the District on YouTube. Injuries report. First injury report came out. Several names not on that list, Stoner. How happy are you to see some of those people back in full practice?
Well, the big one is, I think, there's a couple of big ones, but an important one, maybe not a big one, but an important one is Cole Turner is not even on the list. Mm-hmm. He's not even being shown as limited or full. He's not even showing full practice, right? So that's a really big deal. But the three that are showing up on the injury report but are still practicing fully are Jonathan Allen, Wes Schweitzer, and the third one, help me out.
Cam
Curl. Right. I mean, those are huge because
kind of a big one.
Schweitzer's going to be your center, right? Because Chase Rouillet's gone.
Gus Bus is happy you're mentioning Wes Schweitzer right now.
Yeah, right.
Of all the ones you didn't forget, Gus Bus is happy you remember that one.
Yeah, Jonathan Allen, who I thought this whole injury thing was really going to linger, but it doesn't seem to be because he was full participant, right? It wasn't limited. He was full participant. And then, of course, Cam Curl. I mean, that's just that alone could change the season, the defensive fortunes for at least the next few games. Having him in there and having him play well could be a complete difference maker. We don't know. Hopefully.
Yeah, I think, and Gus Bus, you're absolutely right. Schweitzer is vital, and he's going to prove that as Chase Rouillet is on the IR.
Yep.
They think he might come back. It's not the long term, but it's probably not going to happen. Wes Schweitzer is going to be your starting center. Hopefully stays healthy and lasts the year there. But yeah, I think the Jonathan Allen thing is pretty big. But Trev, last year, Curtis Samuel was practicing and then inactive on game days.
But he wasn't full practicing, though.
There were full practices in there, my man. Okay. So, Trev, do you think Jonathan Allen's injury might still linger if this is like another Curtis Samuel thing, or are you going to be positive with this?
I'm being positive, but it's definitely lingering. He's going to play through it. I don't think it's as severe as Curtis Samuel, but I think it is painful, bothersome. I mean, he said in that interview via video the other day on the Philadelphia when he said he's going to play through it. Like, it hurts, but he's going to play through it. So I don't think it's a Curtis Samuel situation, but it is something to monitor. I mean, he almost did a full split like during the game one time. Like,
I did actually.
Did you see that? I was like, yo. So, but hey, he's a monster. He's a beast. He ain't gonna go down with some little measly groin injury. So,
and I don't want to say anything bad about Curtis Samuel, but Jonathan Allen is a little bit more, I just want to say, headstrong. Yeah.
Well, yeah. And like the groin, it's important, of course, but he doesn't really necessarily need it as much as a Curtis Samuel will need his groin. Curtis Samuel has to run on these routes. And
Curtis Samuel is a speed guy. Needs his groin a lot more.
You just need to
it is a little debatable. Curtis Samuel's not trying to push around 300-pound
linemen
either.
And you need your legs to do that too, but it's more, I don't know.
The quick twitch is, you need that a little bit more in that lower half, the core area that you necessarily do if you're just standing up, beating people up in the trenches.
Yeah,
But
this is
it's
hard.
still an effect. But
For sure. But it's also Cole Turner not even on the list.
Yeah.
Hallelujah. Hopefully he gets some action.
Maybe my anytime touchdown Cole Turner bet will finally strike it.
How
on
about
this?
How about this though? Maybe Cole Turner still doesn't dress. Maybe he's inactive because they're happy with Armani Rogers and his production.
I don't know that that's the case, but because he's seen how many snaps? How many snaps did he see this last game? You got to count on me.
No, but I think it's less than 5.
Yeah,
it might have been 1. It really might have been 1.
Yeah, if they're that happy with a guy who's seeing 5 snaps, then
I'll be getting Cole Turner in.
They're going to get Cole Turner back because they watched John Bates not handle the passing duties. Okay, I'm a Bates guy. I love me some Bates. But he come on, Cole Turner's going to look a lot better out there. Gus Bus Allen wasn't the most. In fact, actually, he had a bad game.
Sure.
Let's call it what it is. Jonathan Allen actually had a bad game against the Lions. Part of that was, I think, the injury. Part of that was the fact that they had to play more due to Wise going down as well. And so he's already kind of, you want him on a pitch count and you have to play him a little bit more. It just did not go well. That entire game didn't go well. But we're going to move on. We're going to be talking about the Eagles. One last thing, though, before we get to the Eagles talk. Daron Payne, the other defensive tackle, his jersey from the first ever Washington Commanders game is in the Hall of Fame. Stoner, how do you feel about his jersey being the one selected to be there?
Yeah. I don't know. I don't like this outside noise or whatever, but in the big picture, I don't think that's the right call, but I don't know whose call it was. Was that the team's call? Was that the NFL's call? Was it Daron Payne was the only one to give it up because all the other guys are giving their stuff somewhere else for some other deals? I don't know. That seems like a big deal to have a guy who next year may or may not be on this team.
Could not be in the burgundy and gold.
Yeah. Sure. So, I mean, wouldn't you want the face of the franchise? Wouldn't you want a Terry McLaurin? Wouldn't you want a John Allen? Wouldn't you want a Chase Young? Well, Chase didn't play. Wouldn't you want a Carson Wentz? All those things. Daron Payne just, if you had a list of all those
5 pressures, 1 sack.
I mean, just as far as representing, nobody's going to look at his stats for the game.
Yeah.
It's just, he represents the team.
Yeah, sure.
And the name. And
Trev, where you got your hand raised? Where do you stand on him being?
I like it. It's outside of the obvious. We're doing something different. We're not. Terry has enough love. Chase has enough love. By the way, Chase hasn't played a game yet, so why would he get his jersey in there?
You're right. I messed that up. Yeah.
Carson Wentz might not be here next year either. Could be Sam Howell's show next year, so that's not a good face either. But Terry gets a lot of love already. Chase Young does too. So does Jonathan Allen. Give it to Daron Payne. He had a monster game in that first. 5 pressures, 1 sack.
I don't think that counts as a monster game. It counts as a good
for
game.
For him, it is. Because he wants all this money and I
just want to point out this is the Hall of Fame
contract year. It's a Hall of Fame. It's just to represent the Commanders. Outside of the obvious, Terry has love. Jahan Dotson's a good choice, but he's a rookie, so he still has a chance to set his own personal goal for the Commanders in there. It's fine, Stoner. It's Daron Payne. If he's not here, he has history. Sterling Sharp is in the Hall of Fame. He played for how many teams? 2. It doesn't matter if he's here or not. It's the first game.
You're
easy,
right.
Stoner.
You're right. I don't think it really matters, but
in the end, I think it's just cool that they're
as long as it's not Kendall Fuller, because that would have been hold on now. Yeah. That's yeah.
I would have gone with Dotson just because the one looks really sharp, and it was the first game. Right.
And he was the first pick of the Commanders, too.
First pick of the Commanders. Yeah, he had the 2 touchdowns
sense.
To include the game-winning touchdown. So I would have gone with
I'd put Troy Apke up in there. That's what I would have done.
Yeah,
Trapke.
You and Trapke. All right, we're going to get into this Eagles talk. We put in the beginning, is this a must win for the Washington Commanders? Let's get your answers in the chat there. Appreciate those coming on. We got C-Truth, the OGs, the DMV. Make sure you give them some love as well.
Keep trolling me, Tracy.
Jared's in there. We mentioned metaphor earlier. When we come back, it is the game, Washington versus the Eagles. How's this one going to break down? The game is brought to you by Pacers Running Stores. Pacers has 6 stores in Northern Virginia and D.C. For the best running footwear, apparel, and gear, just stop by or schedule a virtual fitting with the best running experts in the business. Pacers Running exists to help as many people as possible through running. For every run, it's Pacers Running. Welcome back to the game here on Ref the District. It is Carson Wentz revenge game number 2. He was successful in the revenge game against Jacksonville there.
Yeah.
Exercised those demons. Now he's going to go up against the team that drafted him, the Philadelphia Eagles, who look mighty, mighty good. A lot of people are talking up the Eagles. A lot of people are in love with these Eagles. Stoner, you're shaking your head, my man. But, I mean, you got to admit, the Eagles look a lot better than, probably a dozen teams at least.
Whoa, let's put them in the Super Bowl. They look okay. They look all right. They're not world beaters.
They ain't the Buffalo Bills. They ain't the Kansas City Chiefs.
They are not.
They ain't the Packers. They ain't the Rams.
They barely beat Detroit. Okay.
Barely.
Now, Washington lost to Detroit. I know that's what everybody always comes back with. But fine. I'm not saying whether or not Washington beats Philadelphia. But let's settle down a little bit with this whole the Eagles are amazing and Jalen Hurts is the MVP and all this other crap. That's we can't say all these things after 2 games. They've had 2 games, one where they gave up 35 points to Detroit and almost lost, but they didn't. And another, they played at home and beat Minnesota and Kirk Cousins on a primetime game. Yeah, that's pretty tough to do, right?
Right.
Kirk Cousins primetime.
Also,
exactly.
What is he, 2-37 now? Something like
2-10.
2-10, but
and primetime games. No, in primetime games, I think it's
he's had more wins than 2. He's not 2-37.
He's 2-10 on primetime games.
He's 2-10 on Monday Night
Football.
But he's not. You're telling me that outside of Monday Night Football, he's 0-27?
How many games did he win in primetime for Washington?
He won.
He is 10-18. He's 10-18 in primetime games.
I mean, that's not even close to 2-29 or whatever you said.
It's not good, Stoner. It's not good.
The overall point being, I'm not a believer in Philadelphia yet. And I may eat my words later on, and that's fine. But as of right now, we can't crown them as champions of the NFC East, and they're just going to start rolling over everybody because they had a good game. Their offense looks fierce. They're going to be hard to stop. I mean, you're not going to stop them. They're going to be hard to hold to a low enough total that Washington can win. But let's stop crowning them as champions and Jalen Hurts as MVP.
Yep.
He had a good first half. What do you do in the second half?
Nothing. They didn't score a single point in the second half.
Not a single point did they score. And
not
don't
a
give
single
me this
point.
Teams take their foot off the gas in the NFL
because they didn't.
Halftime. Teams don't do that. Did Darius Slay take his foot off the gas in the second half when he had
stayed strapped?
No, right? You know what I'm saying? The teams don't do that in the NFL. Coaches may not call certain big plays or whatever, but they're still trying to score on every single play.
Exactly.
They don't do. How did that work out for some of those teams that were up 2 scores in the fourth quarter? Their foot off the gas.
The Browns didn't take their foot off the gas, and they ended up losing up.
They just sucked. That's all.
The Jets.
I mean, they didn't all of a sudden just stop playing.
Yeah.
So
I'm with you.
Again, the whole point. They've been good for a week and plus a half of a week.
Yeah.
And that's it. And that's all we have to go by so far. So let's stop crowning them as this great juggernaut team who's going to just roll through the NFC and go to the Super Bowl and Jalen Hurts win the MVP. Let's slow our roll a little bit. Just like with Carson Wentz. There. Carson Wentz is on pace for 60 touchdowns. He's not throwing 60 touchdowns, people. Okay? He's on pace
sweet it would be.
How many picks? 3 times 17. 51?
Yeah.
Is that right?
That,
Yeah.
No, 3. He's had 3, 1.5. He's
20,
on pace for like close to 40 interceptions. He's not going to have 40 interceptions, folks. Okay. It's only been 2 games. Let's slow down a little bit.
Trev, we asked our people in the comments section to answer whether or not this is a must-win game. Do you feel like Washington, especially after this loss to Detroit, has their back against the wall this early?
I saw somebody's comment where it said division games always must win, and I agree with that statement.
Yeah, that part of it.
In a sense, yes, it's a must win for the division, but for long term, no. After this game, we'll have 14 games left, and we can go on a streak after that. So in the long run, no, not a must win, but for a division, yes, it is a must win for sure. Especially when you have a division game this early in the season, you kind of want to get a jump on that. So, yeah, must win.
So it is a must win for you
for a division, yes.
Yeah, Stoner, you with that as well? You thinking this is a must win?
No,
for a division,
not a must win. But I'm sure, of course, you want to win, and everything's better when you win. But losing this game doesn't lose you the division.
It doesn't.
It doesn't take you out of the playoff race, anything like that.
Does kind of put you in a position where you have to, again, sweep either the Giants or Dallas and split.
We can do that.
Win in Philadelphia.
We can do that.
I mean, we're getting ahead of ourselves here. No, you don't. You don't have to do all that.
You really want to go 4-2 in the division to.
Well, what
if
we go? Well, what if we go something worse than that and we still make it?
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm not saying it's not possible, but I'm just saying that those are 6 games you have to put up a winning record on.
Yeah, okay.
Of course. Yeah. Well, what if you go 3-3 in the division? I think you can still win the division.
You can squeak in.
And if you don't win the division, you can still win. You can still get in a wild card spot. There's an extra wild card spot. Let's not forget that this year. I mean, maybe it started last year. I think it did.
Yeah.
Right. So there's an extra wild card spot, more than there's ever been before. So
I like this one right here from Doug. It's not a must. It's a nice to have.
Of course,
this is definitely going to be one that goes a long distance into whether or not Washington can put together several games. That's where I think that it does stand. I agree with you. It's not a must win. It's too early. It's a 3rd game in the season.
Yeah.
But it does put Washington into must wins later down the road, maybe earlier than they would want to be, because again, you really want to. I mean, I guess it's not a need. You're right. 3-3 potentially can still win the division, but you want to really be 4-2 or better in the division, and losing one early kind of puts you in that position where those other division games now start to have kind of more of an impact against your team.
Sure.
Remember when we used to break it down? It was nice and even because there's 16 games. You break it up in quarters, right? First 4, next 4, next 4. In the first 4, when you looked at the schedule and you saw Jacksonville, Detroit, Philly, Dallas, your best hopes were 3-1, but you figured you'd probably go 2-2 in those games. Right?
I think we will.
And they can still go 2-2, and then they've got a couple of tough ones. I think
or 3-1.
Tennessee, Minnesota. I think
that's not tough.
And then after that, it's just it's a lot of it's the Houston and Chicago, and it's teams that you can get on a roll in beating all these teams. So that's why I don't think it's necessarily a must win. But of course, you want to win every divisional game, and those are so important. But at this point in the year, you're 1-1. This is the 3rd game of the year. It's not a must win. I just don't think it is. Because if you lose, you're not out of any sort of race anywhere.
True.
That's fair. Well, Trev, let's move past the must win talk and let's talk about getting a victory against these Eagles. What is the one thing you think Washington needs to do to come home with a victory Sunday?
It's 2, but they go together. Stay disciplined so you don't give up the big plays. You got to stay disciplined on both sides of the ball, but mainly on the defensive side of the ball, because that's where we struggle the most. Stay disciplined, tackle well, get where you're supposed to be. Trust your instincts. Don't guess your instincts. Just trust them, communicate, and don't give up the big play. And I think we'll be just fine. Because outside the big plays of Detroit, they didn't do anything. Think about it. They really didn't. Take away the big plays. Their offense
200 plus
was
yards
stagnant,
off of
was
6
trash.
plays.
Yeah, So if we just eliminate, and if you watch the Eagles games, that's what they do. They have big explosive plays. Stay disciplined and don't allow the big plays. I think we'll be just fine. That's going to be hard to do with our defensive backs. It's going to be a collective effort, I think, on A.J. Brown.
Brian Butler says neutralize A.J. Brown.
Give him different looks. Give him different cornerbacks. Just
don't have to what, Stoner?
You don't have to neutralize A.J. Brown. Okay? Minnesota neutralized A.J. Brown, and they got their ass kicked. Okay? Yeah. So it's not necessarily that you have to stop a certain guy. You've got, I think Trev hit it on the head. You have got to stop those big plays, right? You can't have those big plays down the field that just put your defense in a bad position. But even more so, the offense has to help this defense out. The special teams have to help this defense out. Again, when we talked about last year, when they went on a little bit of a roll defensively, it was about a 7-game stretch where they played well. The offense was running the ball, controlling the clock, keeping the defense on the sideline and rested so that when they came, they had no time to rest in that Detroit game. It was 3 and out, right back out there. 3 and out, right back out there. 2 and out, right back out there. And some of these times they were already at midfield when they got the ball. Or after that the free kick return after the safety, they started at the 31 of Washington. Like you're right back there. It was after 2 plays, and you're right back out there again, the defense. And, man, they held up for the most part. But you've got to stop those big plays and the offense has got to help the rest of the team out by being out there. And they did that in the second half of the Detroit game. They played well in the second half. They
outscored Detroit 27-14,
Yeah, they gave up 2 drives.
It's weird. Like normal. For once, I'm not worried about our offense scoring points because it seems like they will end up scoring points somehow, some way. But just the fact that it takes a long time for them to do so is what they need to work on offense. Come out the gate firing. You might, figure that once in a while, but like come out, be aggressive from the get go. Don't
like the Jacksonville game. Right?
Don't feel the game out. Like watch the film, come out and punch them in the mouth.
Don't get
acquainted and have coffee. Come out there and get hammered. Let's go. We at the bar now. So like, just
I'm actually what Joshua is saying here. I'm actually the opposite.
Josh said, "Put heavy pressure on Jalen
because we don't have anybody. We don't have anybody to back up that heavy pressure."
You know what I want them to do? I want them to rush 3. I want 8 back.
Make him be a pocket quarterback.
Make him be a pocket quarterback, Trev.
Because if we pressure him too much, he's going to find the cracks and crevices and get out of there and gash us for 40 yards. DeAndre Swift has done it. Carson Wentz did it to us when he was in Philly, like when he was more mobile. So and our pass rushing hasn't been ideal. We tend to run past the quarterback and all outside, so we give them the lanes to run. So I agree with you.
You have seen an improvement on that this year. You have seen an improvement where they're crashing in. Now the issue has been that there's no one doing outside containment. That's where Jalen could really hurt you on that front. So something definitely to be watching. I'm going to switch to the other side of the thing here. We have a couple people, Ben Willard. Your offensive line will decide who wins this game. And truth, how can the offense be aggressive when the O-line determines what the offense can do? The offensive line was a lot of people targeted that after this game against Detroit as one of the bad areas. I actually put that on Scott Turner because
I agree.
Detroit was bringing the pressure. The offensive line was having to, block, on a 7-step drop. If they're going to bring pressure, then the offensive line might have some issues, right? Chase Roullier goes down, and so that's an issue. So, and I'm not concerned about this offensive line. Okay, this was a top unit last year. They were a good unit the year before. Matsko is a wonderful coach. I still think that they can block. I think Charles Leno is going to be fine, even though he was the one who gave up the sack for safety there. But I think that the unit's going to be fine. Now, if Scott Turner can, dial it up, we talked about putting the playmakers in space, right? You had a lot of Curtis Samuel. I think his average depth of target is within 5 yards.
Yeah, it's like 2 yards or something.
Yeah. So give them the ball early. If the Eagles, who have a good defensive line themselves, if they're bringing pressure early, get that ball all out of the hands. Don't put it on your offensive line. Your offensive line can hold the fort just fine. Against Jacksonville, another good defensive line, they brought 7, and Washington was able to pick it up and score points, so that they are capable of doing that. So I think that they're going to end up being just fine for that.
I think Scott Turner got outcoached in this particular game. And in the Jacksonville game, I think he outcoached the other squad, right? So what they were doing, and I don't know why they didn't do this against Detroit, but they had so many times they had the 2 men in the backfield with Carson. They had Curtis and Antonio Gibson, and they were doing RPOs left, RPOs right, quick throws, screens, bubble screens, and all this to do exactly what Nathan was saying, which is to offset that great defensive line / linebackers for Jacksonville who were coming at him. But you had all these quick hits so much. But for whatever reason, against Detroit, Carson Wentz was dropping back 7 steps, and they were all these long routes waiting for them to develop. In the meantime, Detroit's bringing 6, 7, 8 guys. They brought 8 guys on a rush, and the 3 receivers were going deep.
Yeah, and he wasn't
nothing that Carson can do about it, and he just has to. He's oh my god, and we want to blame the offensive line for that. Well, there's only so many offensive linemen.
Yeah, and you can't.
McKissick was in there trying to help out, and
that's not going to help.
But there's still free guys coming.
Yeah,
so
and you gotta.
I think they have to get those quick hitters, that imaginative offense, and then whatever they do, they've got to stay out on the field to give that defense a chance to rest, and just very simply keep Jalen Hurts, Devontae Smith, AJ Brown, Sanders, who's their tight end, Goddard. Keep all those guys on the sideline, right? Keep them off the field so that they can't ring up all these points.
Now, one of those ways to keep them off the field is going to be the Washington's run game, which was very anemic, and that one you could potentially blame on the offensive line. Antonio Gibson is still RB1 because B-Rob is still rehabbing from his leg injury. Do you think Antonio Gibson has a reasonable day running the ball against Philadelphia?
I think he has a reasonable day, but this is why we need B-Rob now, because we can use him more as the ground and pound style and keep Gibby in the slot and catching balls out of the backfield rather than having to depend him be the workhorse no matter what the opponent's situation is. But I think he'll bounce back. I think he would have 14 carries for 28 yards against Detroit, and that's
bad. It was bad.
Not good. Not saying B-Rob could have done better, but I think he could have. He's that kind of runner, so I look for Gibby to have a little bit better of a day, but nothing to go crazy about. I think
Metaphor said 100 and 100, right? You don't think he's going to have that kind of day?
I think he's better suited as.
No, he said that for last week.
I think the way
he's going to make that bet again.
The way we used him against Jacksonville, I think that suits his skill set the best. I really do. I'm not a big fan of him being the first down and second down and almost third down running back. I don't.
You hear EP say it all the time, right? She's just like, I hate that run. Run him up the gut.
It just doesn't. He just doesn't look comfortable when he's doing it. But when he's catching those running back sails in the slot, he looks comfortable. Like he looked like it was a natural fit. So I just can't wait for B-Rob to get back so we can actually have a running game for real and not depending on a pass catching running back to carry the load. So that's all we have.
Yeah, we'll see how that's going to work out. I don't know about B-Rob. I'm not confident that he's going to be back week 5. I'm not, but we'll see.
The kid was out there jogging today.
What do you mean? What changed your mind?
I just thinking about it. I have no
That's
insight.
The one I need on the thing here.
I just don't think he's going to be ready that quick. I just don't. I don't know. What do I know? It's total guess.
There we go. That's Stoner right there.
It's not coming through.
Not coming through. Well, that's
No.
unfortunate.
We didn't hear anything.
I'll have to figure that one out. But
Like
it was the wah
like
wah wah.
clapping stuff the last few times hasn't been coming through either.
Oh, well, you guys need to tell me sometime not
I keep forgetting
live on air. You got to tell me.
I didn't even know you were doing
so
the clapping noise. I
always do it when we have a guest come in.
Yeah.
All right, let's move off the technical sounds aside here. The run game we know is going to be a potential issue for Washington. It could be a potential for Washington offensively. We talked about how defensively that can be a bit of a trouble. Stoner, you mentioned Goddard just a moment ago. Our linebackers have been much maligned this season already, 2 games in. How confident you feel that they're going to be able to keep Goddard to a reasonable stat line?
A reasonable stat line?
Yeah.
I think that's
define what you think a reasonable stat line. Against Minnesota, he had 5 receptions, 82 yards, no touchdowns there.
Yeah. He's going to get his. AJ Brown is going to get his. Jalen Hurts is going to have 70 to 80 yards rushing. He's going to have plays. They're all going to get theirs, but you just have to limit them. Right? I mean, this is the NFL. This is not Indianapolis Colts offense that can't score a single point in the NFL. This is Philadelphia, and they're good, and they're going to score points. You just have to be able to make certain stops and not give up those big chunk plays and score on offense yourself. They're going to get theirs, but you just can't have Dallas Goedert getting 9 catches for 104 and 2 touchdowns, while AJ Brown is getting 8 catches for 92 yards and a touch. You can't have all that craziness. You just have to contain them. They're going to make plays. They're going to have good stats in the end. You just got to limit them. Just like our offense is going to have big numbers in the end. It's
going to be hard to keep the big 3 wide receivers down for Washington. They just.
Why aren't we talking about that more? Why? I don't mean us here specifically tonight. I'm just talking in general. Philadelphia is not stopping this offense. Sorry.
I'll tell you right now. I'm telling you right now.
Mm-hmm. Here he comes. We get him. Come on, Trev.
I wouldn't be so sold on that right there, bro. Would not be so sold on they're not stopping this offense. I would not be so sold on that.
Why?
They just stopped Justin Jefferson, Adam Thielen, and Dalvin Cook and Kirk Cousins. I don't give a damn. It's prime time or
prime
not.
Time.
I don't care. I don't care. They just put the clamps on Justin Jefferson, and all they did was watch film.
That's
Justin Jefferson might
Terry
be
McLaurin,
my favorite wide receiver.
Terry McLaurin is good, but he ain't Justin Jefferson. Right. Jahan Dotson's good, but he ain't Adam Thielen. Antonio Gibson is not Dalvin Cook.
Right.
Okay? And that's all I'm saying. Yes, we have a 3-headed monster receiver and they're fast, but I'm not going to be – I can't just go ahead and sit out there and say that there's no way they can stop our offense. Darius Slay is a monster, bro. Avonte Maddox had 2 picks. Just saying.
If Terry McLaurin has made a name for himself, Santana Moss, Cowboy Killer. I forget who tweeted this out though, but Terry McLaurin has like nearly 500 yards against the Eagles in his 3 years there. I just think that he's going to be just fine against the Eagles there.
If this game is played on paper, Trev, you'd probably be right in that Philadelphia is going to beat Washington 99 out of 100 times. But it's not played on paper. And what about this great defense that you're talking about, right, that did stop Minnesota, did a great job of that. They couldn't stop Detroit for anything. They couldn't stop their weapons, and our weapons are just as good as their weapons. So why our quarterback pummels their quarterback? All right, our receiving core pummels their receiving core. They have a better running back. Our tight end pummels their tight end. Well, that's probably a wash when you got Hawkinson, right? So we have, and they scored 35 on Philadelphia.
Okay.
What? Are you
ready?
We look at Minnesota. Hang on. You got Minnesota because it's the most recent, and that's what's in our head. We're just going to forget about the Detroit team who ran for 181 yards and who scored 35 on them?
Okay. Stoner.
Yeah.
Terry McLaurin's receiving stats against the Philadelphia Eagles his entire career. You ready for that?
Yeah.
2019, five catches for 125 yards.
Yeah.
2020, that was the first game. The second game, he had 5 catches for 130 yards. In 2020, they only played once because of COVID. He had 5 catches for 61 yards. 2021, in January, he had 7 catches for 40 yards.
Okay.
In December 2021, he had 2 catches for 51 yards. And in January in 2022, he had 7 catches for 61 yards. I'm pretty sure they can stop Terry McLaurin. So I'm not going to be.
Joshua brings it up. He's never had a QB like Carson Wentz. I mean,
You're right.
QBs
He's not
in those games.
He's not. You're right. But all I'm saying, Carson Wentz has played against Darius Slay probably in practice every day, and he probably got picked off multiple times. So Darius probably knows how Carson plays. And he just strapped Justin Jefferson, and he's shown that he's probably strapped Terry McLaurin every time he's lined up across the street from him. So. I'm not just going to be so soul saying they can't stop our defense. Now, lucky for us, they shut down Terry McLaurin. How they're going to stop Jahan Dotson and Curtis Samuel and everybody else? Yes,
Logan Thomas, but
also
and Antonio Gibson and Carson Wentz
said the same thing with Minnesota. I mean, they just came off of beating Green Bay.
Absolutely,
he locks down Justin Jefferson. How are they going to stop Thielen and Cook? Well, they did. Somehow, some way, they did.
What about Detroit? What about Detroit? That was the last game.
We only scored 27. They scored 38 on Detroit. We only put up 27.
No,
he's talking about the fact
you're
that
talking
they did
about
not
how
stop
they're gonna,
Detroit.
Yeah, you're talking about how they're able to shut down Minnesota and all those stars and that great offense. But I'm asking you, sure, they
get better every game.
Why didn't they do that to Detroit?
Why didn't we come out starting fast like we did in Jacksonville? No, it's the same thing. It's easy to say that. Why didn't we come out firing on all cylinders like we did in Jacksonville? We didn't. Why didn't he do that in the first game? Because we got better, we got worse. I'm saying their defense has gotten better, so I'm not in a position to say there's no way they can stop us.
We don't know what defense we're going to get. Are we going to get the one that Detroit scored 35 points on?
So that's easy to question.
Are we going to get the one that Minnesota failed to? Again, primetime Kirk Cousins plays a part there. There's 3 turnovers that they had. So that's, not to say that you can't get a bad Carson Wentz, but that's
because he's already proven that.
For exactly what you're saying about Washington and their defense, you have to take into consideration the exact same thing about Philadelphia's defense. Okay, you're saying, why can't they get better? They got better, right? Washington got worse. So that's it?
Yeah,
so
our defense does not get better.
Only get worse.
No, we can get better, but we've proven that we can't get better. Philadelphia automatically has from 2 games. In 2 games.
Well, again, what we're talking about when it comes to Washington's defense is they're actually not as bad as what some people, make out to be. There's just the inconsistency issue that they have. We have Ethan Davis here. Thanks for joining us. If we continue to be stout on 3rd and 4th down, we might have a chance. Their 3rd and 4th down numbers are great. They've been making stops on 3rd and 4th down. The thing that we've been harping on from years past, they seem to be fixing. Granted, you don't need a 3rd or 4th down when you're getting a 50-yard run on 2nd down, but that's neither here nor there right now. I think we should be worried about every offense in the NFL when we give up chunk yardage like candy, which is that other aspect to it, right? You brought it up, Trev, yourself. Against the Detroit Lions, they had most, I think it was like 75 to 80% of their yards came off of 6 plays. If you just don't allow 2 of those plays, you can drastically reduce the effectiveness of that team. Do you feel confident, Trev, in this defense not giving up 6 big plays?
No, not at all. Not at all. They did it with the Jacksonville Jaguars, maybe not 6. And then they did it with Detroit Lions. And they had DeAndre Swift. They let that man lay on his belly, get up and score. They didn't cover St. Brown because – they just knew that was going to happen. They saw that on film, which is awful to hear after a game. They knew that was going to happen. I don't feel confident at all. And now we have A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, Quez Watkins. No, I don't feel confident at all. Now, maybe it's a division game and everything is different and it's, different atmosphere, whatever. But judging by the last 2 games and our history as a defense, no, I do not have confidence that we will not be able to give up 6 big plays. I think it's going to happen.
They only gave up 22 points to Jacksonville. So, I mean, why if they only give up 22
and 36
points,
to Detroit.
I know, but also they only gave up 22 to Jacksonville. You can't discount that. You can't.
I can.
Because
yes, I can.
Game they gave
you know
up
why
36,
I can? Trevor Lawrence had brand new offense, a brand new coach. He got Travis Etienne back for the first time in the NFL. So there's no chemistry there yet. So I understand why we allowed 22.
All of a sudden, magically, the chemistry came 1 week later.
I mean, obviously, we gave up 36 to Detroit, bro. Detroit, who just put up 35 on Philly.
Trev, you're moving the bar again.
That's why I don't have confidence. Yeah, we allowed 22, which is fine because of inexperience. We shouldn't have allowed that much, but it's 22 to Jacksonville.
But the next week, Jacksonville, Trevor Lawrence looked like a Hall of Famer. The next week, he missed like 4 passes the entire game.
Great. So and the first week we allowed 22 points, and the second week we allowed 36 points. Stoner,
right? But don't discount the 22.
I am discounting it.
It doesn't mean we're going to go from 22 to 36 to 38 to 48 to 52.
Why doesn't it?
60? Because
that's what I'm saying.
How it works.
But the Eagles have a more explosive offense than Jacksonville, bro. That's why we allowed 22. So okay, like who's the receivers for outside of Christian Kirk for Jacksonville?
I don't even,
exactly.
I have no idea.
We can name them all right
2
now.
Weeks ago and I couldn't even.
Exactly. We know AJ Brown. Look what he did in week 1. Look what he did in week 2. Quez Watkins was a sleeper receiver. We found out about him last year. And Devontae Smith is just too skinny, but he's no slouch either. Imagine that. If we give up 36 to Amon-Ra St. Brown and a Josh Reynolds and a DeAndre Swift and a Craig Reynolds.
They're not going
and
to. I'm telling you right now, Washington is not giving up 36 points to Philadelphia. They're not.
I put $1 on it. We give up 30 points at least.
Detroit had 6, count them right here. 6 possessions.
Right.
In the first quarter.
Right. And look who was on those possessions, and look how bad we did.
Now, Matt,
take the same style of play and put it against Philadelphia. They scored 50 in the first quarter.
Do you know why they had 6 possessions in the first half, Trev?
Yeah, because Scott Turner didn't know how to recognize to stop 7 people from coming to the quarterback, but magically he did in week 1, but week 2 he just forgot all of a sudden.
Not going to happen this week.
How do we know? It's on tape. It's on tape. It can definitely happen. St. Brown just said we watched film. We knew they were bust coverage. And what happened? We busted the coverage.
So
it's on film.
Washington will never win another game against teams.
Now you're saying never win.
Paper.
No, you went from giving up points to winning games. No, we're talking about giving up points right now. We'll win games. It'll be a shootout, but we're going to give up at least 30 against Philly if we keep playing the way we do like the past 2 weeks.
They're not giving up 36.
I'm at least 30.
Whatever you want.
On 30 points, at least 30 points?
It's 36. It's Detroit that they played and gave up 36. Philadelphia
in
is
Detroit,
way more explosive.
Frenzied home team.
So Philadelphia is this great powerhouse offense. And if we gave up 36 to Detroit with a terrible quarterback,
we're going to give up 50 to Jalen Hurts.
We're not giving up more than 36.
30 points at least. At least 30. At least 30. Yeah, teams adjust, but I don't think we're going to adjust that well in 3 games.
You guys swallow the bet for now. We'll get to Dolla in a little bit there.
I'm ready to go, Trev. Come on, Trev.
That was the longest round I've ever been in my life.
Yeah, you guys are going back and forth. I just sat back and I was just like, all right, we're going to
Skip Bayless and Shannon Sharp over here. Here we go.
I'm Shannon.
Okay, fine.
That's probably more of an accurate take. Merle, thanks for the $2 donation.
You,
we don't shout it out too often, but we do have the super chat enabled, and you can give us some of your hard-earned dollars to support the channel. We always appreciate that. Merle says Scott Turner offense doesn't have hot reads. It sure didn't seem like it in the game against them.
Yeah. And he's going to adjust. Merle is absolutely right. In that game, he didn't have hot reads in the first half, because if you look in the second half, He did.
Yeah, it was cool.
He was dumping to Gibson and McKissick when he needed to. He made adjustments. He made them too late in Detroit game. But now he's got a whole week to prepare. He's going to make adjustments. And Philadelphia's not going to have 6 possessions in the first quarter and wear this defense down. It's not going to happen.
Hopefully not, or at least hopefully the defense is up for that kind of challenge there. Doug is bringing up the third aspect, right? It was they lost on all the aspects against Detroit here. Doug bringing up special teams is giving up good field position. That was one of the biggest things. Where do you want to see the special teams improve, Stoner, as far as this game against Philadelphia? Maybe they don't score 36, but they're going to score some, and they're going to be kicking it to Dax Milne. Yeah. You really want to see him bringing it out of the end zone?
Put Dax Milne at the 20-yard line. If the ball goes over his head, let it go. If it lands at the 15, well, you win. You guys can have the ball there. I'm being a little facetious, obviously. But if I love
that. I want to see that happen now.
I know, right?
Yeah, me too.
If you catch it in the end zone, let's just start at the 25. Let's go. Stop with this whole we're going to break one. Although to start the second half, he did have a good return. I think he got it at the 3 and he went out to like the 32 or something. Mm-hmm. That was a nice return. And what happens? The offense goes right down the field and scores, right? Mm-hmm. So when the special teams plays well, the offense plays well, the defense comes out in the first possession of the second half, 3 and out, right? Mm-hmm. Puts the offense right back down on the field. They're going down, and then unfortunately they get that interception. But all these things work together. The offense and the offense is important for the defense. The defense is important for the offense. The special teams is important for both.
It all feeds into each other. If
one's not working, it's going to affect the others. And it's not as easy to just look on paper and to see it, but it happens. It affects the game greatly. So they obviously just have to fix those things in the special teams to help everybody else.
Answering Merle's question here, who's starting at center? That'd be Gus Bus's man, Wes Schweitzer is
most likely
was a full participant.
I mean, we signed a center, but
they did sign Zach Martin's brother, and he will be backing up Wes Schweitzer. So hopefully we don't have to see him in there.
Hey, Zach Martin's brother, he's good.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So we'll keep an eye on that and see how that plays. We know that there are a lot of people in chat who love themselves some big Wes there. So
I like him too. I just like to get away from this whole he's the best backup guard in the league.
I was gonna say, and why is he center when we signed a center? Is that because he knows the playbook?
He can play both positions. So he that's one of the reasons why our viewers love him so much is that versatility, is he can play either inside line positions there. So he does need to get help.
Is in New England, I think.
I thought he went down to Florida.
Who did? But anyway, he's on another
somewhere.
squad.
Yeah.
And then Tyler Larson is on IR, so he can't come back to week 5 at best. So,
and I think John Toth went back to modeling underwear.
Yeah.
So
sorry, I didn't mean that. John Toth is not capable of being a starting center in the NFL.
He was for us.
Yeah.
I don't know. Did he start? He just filled in. I don't think he ever started a game, right? He just came in for an injury purposes.
No,
we can look that up.
Anyway, at least in the preseason, I think he might have started. This year.
As long as Doug, I agree. As long as our
come on, give me another one. I'm ready. Give me another one.
Give me another one to attack. Okay, so we're not going to get into Dolla until just a little bit later. But Stoner seems pretty dead set on them not stopping this offense, Trev, and you kind of attacked that a little bit. Mm-hmm. Which of the receivers do you think is going to be most vital to winning this game against the Eagles?
Curtis Samuel.
Okay, why is that?
Because I think that they are going to focus a lot on Jahan Dotson and Terry McLaurin. And everybody in the past 2 games, when they interview the coaching staff and this and that, whatever, they only mentioned Jahan Dotson, how he's needed this and that, and Terry McLaurin. They never once mentioned Curtis Samuel, really.
Yeah.
And I think that's because of his injury history with us. He didn't play last year, so they don't think he's a factor coming off of an injury. But little do they know that he is a huge factor for us. He's been great for us so far. After
Trev, who's leading the league in receptions?
Probably Curtis Samuel.
Curtis Samuel. He's tied, but still.
Yeah. So I
got
think
15 grabs in 2 weeks.
I think that's vital. He's a human joystick. He can create space and create some yak after the catch. I think he's very vital for us to win. He's going to have a huge day. And a huge day for him would be like 8 catches, 76 yards, maybe a touchdown,
a couple of runs
2.
like he did in the Jacksonville game.
Nothing,
4 runs
not even,
for 17
don't
yards.
even go over 100 yards, not even double-digit catches, just something like that to contribute.
And he showed how tough he was when he made that touchdown catch.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely pummeled.
Blasted.
And held onto the ball and got up and got stepped on his face, but, it's another thing. And then came back and kept playing. But yeah, I think that's great. You can take away Terry. You can take away Jahan. You can take away Logan. You can take away the run game.
You can't take away Curtis.
Then you've still got another weapon.
Because it's like, you're going to put a cornerback on Curtis? Okay, we'll move him back down here at backfield so a linebacker can take him. He can't run him. Or we'll line him up in the slot over here so this linebacker. So, yeah, he can just.
Now, I didn't look at the whole game. I didn't look like all of the film, obviously,
cool.
for the Philadelphia Minnesota game. But I do remember that first interception that Slay had in the end zone, right? When the receiver went.
He ran a bad route. Yeah.
Right. I mean, Darius Slay was playing 15 yards off of the ball and was just kind of cruising back there. And the quarterback made a terrible throw. The receiver had a bad route. It was bad all the way around. And Slay was there and made the pick. He didn't do some incredible, while Jefferson's making 2, 3, 4 moves and juking all over the place, and Slay was just all over him and picked it off. No, I mean, he was just lounging back there basically and just stepped in front, and Cousins threw it right to him. I'm not saying Slay's not a great player, but let's not act like he's going to shut down Terry McLaurin on every play, because he's not. I'm sorry.
He doesn't have to shut him down. He just has to prevent the quarterback from even looking this way, and that's also known as shutting down in the league. So, if Terry gets 2 targets, Darius Slay was doing his job.
Sure, absolutely, that may be what happens, but that's why you went out and drafted a Jahan Dotson. That's why you signed a Curtis Samuel. That's why you traded for Carson Wentz. So that if you are going to shut down one of our weapons, we've got plenty more to choose from. And that's the difference between this offense this year and all the past years.
For all of that to work, though, we've kind of buried the lead here a little bit. This is Carson Wentz's return to, not return because he's not going to Philadelphia, but he is playing against his old team. For them to be successful, it's really all going to come down to Carson Wentz. Trev, do you think Carson Wentz can have a successful game against the Philadelphia Eagles?
I do. A lot of new faces. It's been, 5 years since he was there? Right?
It's been 2.
It's been a while.
2 seasons,
Oh, sorry. Yeah, okay. Well, it's been a while. A lot of new faces, new staff, new coach, new front office, whatever. So I think it's just a revenge game just because he used to play for him, but not as much because all the staff and everybody's gone that he played for that's there. So
it'll be a big deal when he goes back to Philly.
For sure. And I think it's still a big deal now. But you heard Nick Sirianni today say, I saw on Twitter that he's going around the building asking everybody what they know about Carson Wentz. It's like, who are you really going to ask? AJ Brown never played with him. Quez never, none of the receivers played with him. Jalen Hurts played behind him. So, I don't know if that's really going to help. I could ask, what's his name? Brandon Graham, who's been the Eagles linebacker since I was born. It feels like.
Well, maybe like Jason Kelsey, I'm sure.
And Jason Kelsey for sure. Yeah.
Insight.
But other than that, I don't think it's
the film's going to tell you the film that they watch is going to tell you way more than what Jason Kelsey's. He might add a little bit, but
now when he goes, that's they gonna snap the ball.
Right.
That's all Jason Kelsey can probably tell him. So it is what it is. I just think it'll be, like you said, more of a revenge game when he goes to Philadelphia.
That'll be a big deal, I think.
Yeah.
So Stoner, successful day for Carson Wentz, or he right now is tied for the league lead in touchdowns at 7.
Let's go.
Does have those 3 interceptions to go with it, which is almost half of what he had last year.
Yeah, that's fine.
So, but where do you stand on Carson Wentz for this kind of game? What are you predicting for him?
Well, I'm going to use Trevor's theory against him. Okay? All Carson Wentz has done in these first 2 games
Oh
get better,
no!
right?
Oh no!
He was very good in the first game. He was excellent in the second game if we discount the first half, right?
So
why is he not going to continue to improve? So why is he not going to be even better in this game?
Okay, all right.
That's all I'm gonna say, because you kept doing the whole
Yeah.
they're gonna do is keep getting better or worse, whichever trend they're on right now. So yeah, I don't see how. It's early. It's been 2 games, but my eyes tell me right now that there isn't a defense that can stop the Washington offense. I just don't. I'm sorry. It's not an Ashburn thing. I've seen it for 2 weeks. And we've been stopped. Only thing that has stopped the Washington offense is the Washington offense, is Carson Wentz's few turnovers.
And Scott Turner's inability to call a game.
Yeah. But once he fixed that, they were unstoppable. They were absolutely unstoppable in the second half, except for the 1 interception where they stopped themselves. And that wasn't an egregious interception. He threw it a little bit high, and it was a little tip drill going on back there.
We're going to win.
But they had the touchdown, then they had the pick, then they had the touchdown, and then they came back a little bit later, had another touchdown. Detroit couldn't stop them in the second half, and so I don't know how any of these I'm sorry. That's my eyes. I could be completely but
they did look much better in the second half, obviously.
I don't think unstoppable is the right word.
Unstoppable might be a bit of a hyperbole coming from Stoner, but they did look good. They did put up the 27 points.
How many yards did Carson Wentz end up with?
300 plus.
Let's look at here.
Yeah, it was all in the second half.
Yeah.
In the first half, they had 2 drives where they had 1 first down on each drive, and I don't even remember what plays they were, but they weren't some big chunk yardage plays. So we had it all in the second half. He had like 300 yards and 3 touchdowns in the second half. Right?
Yeah.
So, yes, that's unstoppable. And don't give me this crap that they let off the gas, the defense just started hanging around. When it was 22-14, you think this defense was still just hanging out? No. Or 22-15? Right? Or when it became 29-21, you think the defense was just like, we'll let them do whatever they want. We've got this game wrapped up. No. He torched that Detroit defense. Absolutely. He could do whatever he wanted in that second half. And he did basically whatever he wanted against Jaguars.
Fair.
I'm just
fair
saying.
Enough, fair enough.
Just looking at the 2 games and looking at their production, they have been basically unstoppable.
All right. Well, let's go ahead and get those game predictions in.
Yeah.
Because Trev says it's going to be a W.
Yeah, it is.
Well, hold on. Where did that come from?
You didn't hear
that?
Where
did that come from?
I mean, I heard him say that, but where the heck did it come from?
From my heart, bro.
I told you, did I not tell you on
Just
our reckoning?
On
the reckoning, I said Trev is going to talk bad about the team, and he's still going to pick them.
Yes, because I'm a fan, and they can still stop half of our offense, and we can still win.
What if somebody said, "All right, Trev, I'm going to ask you this, so you have to think about it." What if somebody said, "If you pick the right side of this game, I will give you $10,000."
Pick the right side of this game.
And you don't have to put anything up.
Straight up,
not points or anything. And if you pick the right team, then you'll get $10,000. Who are you picking?
Okay. You told me I have to think about it some, right?
Well, you have to think about it more than just saying I'm a fan, so I'm going to pick Washington. You have to really give your honest opinion or your honest thought.
Philly's going to win.
Philly's going to win if money's on the line. He's taking Philadelphia. I know Roger put in a victory there for Philadelphia, and a couple others did as well. Make sure you get your game score there. What's your game score though, Trev?
My game score though, I think it's going to be 33-30.
33-30 Washington.
Washington.
Yeah. All right. I'm
Taking
gonna
I
try to
still
write all these
think
down.
we allow 30
Yeah,
points.
we got Doug 31-24
Giovanni.
for the Commanders.
189-24-21.
You got Brian Butler, Commanders.
It's going to come down to
Eagles
Joey
20.
Sly.
I tell you what, 24-20. If the score is that, then Washington definitely should win that game.
Oh my God, yeah! But
like if it's that low scoring of a game, I'm really surprised here at the number of Commanders.
I'm too.
People picking this 30-28 Commanders.
We're gonna win because we are.
Stoner, where are you at with this game? What's your game score, my man?
I've got it, man. Gus Bus, you're right there. I like that score. I think it's going to be about 31-28 Washington.
Wow. 31-28 Washington from Stoner.
You know why I think they're going to win?
Yes,
yeah. Why?
I mean, I'm not going to give you like this great analytics and all this other stuff because everybody, not present company excluded on here, everybody thinks Philadelphia wins. And when that happens, usually the opposite wins.
Bro, everybody picked Detroit to win.
Not everybody. That was a little bit more split. I think it was like 60-40 on Detroit.
But it's one of those things like kind of like what you were saying, Philadelphia is playing well and they're beating teams and they just kicked Minnesota's, they're Super Bowl contenders. Jalen Hurts is MVP. There's no way we're going to have 20,000 fans there. There's just no way that these guys are going to be able to hang with them.
I was about to say some really nice things about authentic.
Stoner,
beard,
look at this.
I don't know that I can say those nice things now with this kind of score. 61-28 Eagles. That's got to be
one
authentic.
is it?
It's probably authentic in there. We'll see
because
who
no
it
way
is.
the Beard's going to pick that against
If you haven't already gone to them, they're one of the best content creators that are out there. Authentic and the Beard.
I disagree.
Combination of their. Not you're saying they're the best?
I think they're the best.
The best. That's fair. They do have the best television show. This is
the Beard, bro.
The television show.
Told you,
television
he's
show,
with
not on
me.
television. But they're a great group of guys. The Beard is a Commanders fan. Authentic, unfortunately, reps
They're gonna put up
the Giants. But they create some amazing content. Make sure you go out there and support them there. I hate that score, though, Beard. Where do we stop here? You got Giovanni's 21-24 Commanders.
Yep.
How about Josh's 40-27 Commanders?
35-24 Washington, Joshua. Yeah, I'm writing all these down.
Yeah, Corey Lott's 35-24 Commanders. We're finally getting some of the Eagles ones in there. Ethan Davis, 35-24 Eagles. Roger Smith, 33-14 Eagles.
We're definitely going to win Sunday. It's going to be a shootout.
Metaphor, 38-31 Commanders. Gregory calling a homer. I mean, that fits at least 2 of the 3. I've not given my score just yet.
Nathan, what's your score?
Rockman, 35-21 Eagles. I love
weird.
this. Gus Bus, unstoppable offense led by the irresistible force of Wes Schweitzer. Grandizer, 40-19 Eagles. Sorry, not sorry. Hurts will run like crazy. I don't know. We're going to have to do Dolla.
John Botts will go catch his ass.
John Botts can't even catch a cold at this stage of life. So
his name is Bostic.
It doesn't matter. I don't want that guy to see the field.
Why? We need him.
This honestly is Jamon Davis's time to shine. I don't know that he's going to step up to it, but I would like to see him given the opportunity. So
what's
we'll
that
see
mean if he doesn't?
If he doesn't, I'm sure that we'll have another Instagram post coming soon. My score, I am going to go against the grain from you two. I'm going to take Philadelphia in this one, and I am going to take them 33-28.
I mean, I'm kind of with you, but
what did you say? 33-28?
33-28 Philadelphia.
28 Philadelphia. Okay. I'm almost caught up.
You got K-Friend here.
K-Friend.
35-28. Thanks for jumping on here.
35-28. Yep. I think I'm caught up. Nope. I got
Scotty. 42-28 Eagles.
I like that name. Scotty's Flow State. 42-28 Philadelphia. Who's your player of the game if the Commanders win?
Ooh, we'll get that in Dolla. Yeah, we'll get that in Dolla. But yeah, I agree. We got 24-20 Eagles.
Gregory Pett.
Gregory says over under only 47.5. Went from 50 and dropped some points there.
Oh wow, did it really?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. Yep, I'm caught up. So we can go on to Dolla.
All right, we are going to come back and we will do some Dolla and talk about a billboard in a sold out trip coming down from Philadelphia. All that's coming up here in the cool down. Thanks for sticking with us here on the Ref the Districts, the cool down right now. If you haven't already, make sure that you like this video, subscribe to the channel. We appreciate all of the people in the chat interacting with us. We got a couple more scores there for Stoner to keep track of. We got a Philip with the Eagles 45-24 and 007 35-17 Commanders. Man, I would be so happy if that's the case, if that happens. Grandizer did ask this question. We're gonna answer this one before heading into the billboard discussion. Who is your player of the game if the Commanders win? Stoner, you said that was pretty easy.
Yeah,
it's got to be Carson Wentz then, right?
Absolutely, 100%. If Washington wins this game, it's going to be because Carson Wentz outduels Jalen Hurts. I think it's that simple.
Trev, if it's not Carson Wentz, who's it going to be?
Jonathan Allen.
Oh,
defensive. I agree. I think that the defensive line needs to come out and if they can get to Jalen Hurts, I think that you're going to see Washington kind of favor that one right there. Rockman with Curtis Samuel.
Yep.
Corey Lott takes Carson Wentz there. So yeah, we'll see how it goes. One thing that is an interesting thing to keep watch of is whether or not Washington can keep their fans in it. Philadelphia has put up a billboard saying, "We're coming for you, Carson." And I'm going to share the screen of said billboard
which they are
now. So take off the $3 there. Yep, this is a billboard just outside of Philadelphia there. "We're coming for you, Carson."
Mm-hmm.
It's from phillysportstrips.com, #1000 fans to FedEx. And not only did they have that, so we're going to bring that down while I move over to talk about some of the stuff here. They have it's a complete stadium takeover by our fans. No guarantee that Carson will still be the starting QB when Washington comes to Philly in Week 10. If you want to say hello to Carson, this could be your only chance. It was right there on the website. And not only that,
I'm sure that affects the outcome of the game.
Yeah, not only that, but this is the ultimate bus trip to FedEx Field. 9/17 trip update here. We are sold out of tickets.
Yeah. Good. They only get so many.
Yep. Well, they did say #1,000 fans to to the game there. So do you think that the stadium's going to be overrun in that ugly midnight green?
Of course.
I think it's going to be yes. Yes.
I mean,
yes.
It's been that way for years. This is not something.
And now even more because Carson's our quarterback. Oh, they're coming out like it's a home game.
Or because their team is 2-0 and they think Jalen Hurts is winning the MVP and they're going to the Super Bowl. So yeah,
bro,
it's nothing.
It's also because of Carson Wentz.
Yeah, but I mean, this is nothing new. It's not like I don't think they're going to have an extra 20,000 people just because of Carson Wentz. They're going to have probably, I would say, 20 to 25,000 fans there, and it's going to be annoying. But this is one of those that outside noise stuff that I don't really care about. It becomes a thing if Washington loses. If Washington wins, we'll talk about how we can make fun of them for 5 minutes and then we move on. But if they lose, we're going to talk about it for a week and it's going to be really annoying. So just shut up all that outside noise by winning. And that's all you got to do. And that crowd, 20,000 Philly fans are not going to affect how the game is played.
Bro.
It's not.
I'll disagree with that. If the Philly fan, if you allow, there's a home field advantage for a reason, right? That's one of the things we talked about Detroit, it being loud there and it being one of those things. If Philadelphia is able to take the Washington fans, however many, 50% of the field is, the stadium's filled with them. We're being told that the game is sold out. So it possibly does mean, it's a 2-hour trip from Philadelphia. It's not too hard to come down here for a game. In fact, I'm sure some of our Virginia fans will tell you that Philadelphia, you can get to game easier from Philadelphia than you can from Virginia. But the aspect is like we've had teams, like I remember watching a few years ago, you could hear Go Pack Go,
of course,
on the
we won
chances
that game
and stuff like that. So
and we won that game. That's right, Trev. It doesn't affect the play on the field is my whole point.
All right.
Now, would you like to have a home field advantage? Does that help the home team
in the playoffs? Yes.
I think it can have an effect. Going to Buffalo is a son of a bitch to have to go there and
in the winter
and play in front of those fans that are 99% Buffalo fans. But that's a whole different thing. But having half of your stadium loud with Eagles fans isn't any different than it's been for the last almost 10 years. Yeah. So it's not going to affect the outcome.
There seemed to be some more excitement, when Jacksonville, and that was the first time I remember in the last few years that it didn't seem like the opposing fans weren't a big chunk of the stadium attendance. Do you feel like the Detroit game, losing that game, kind of took some wind out of the sails? If we beat Detroit the way that people thought, some of our fans thought we were going to beat Detroit, do you think that there would be less Philadelphia fans there come Sunday?
Probably. Yeah.
No.
I think so, because you have team. Look at our little timeline, whatever, our little chat box, right? And you see all of the people who are so upset and we're going to get blown out and all this other stuff, all because of that one game. Because again, you beat Jacksonville in the first game. If they had gone into Detroit and won that game and were 2-0 and this offense was clicking on fire, then there would be fans that would not be willing to give up their tickets. They'd be going to that game because they want to be a part of 2-0 versus 2-0 with Carson and Philly and all that goes with the division game and everything. And it would be a totally different atmosphere. But you lose that one game and all of a sudden this team is terrible and everybody needs to be fired, then people are going to be willing to give up their tickets. I think it's pretty much that simple. Or not buy tickets. Like, maybe I won't go to this game because I thought we were good, but it turns out we suck. So I'm not going. And Philadelphia fans, scoop them up.
All right. Well, we need our people who are going to be at the game to be loud and proud for the burgundy and gold. And I want to hear you make a difference. Prove Stoner wrong. Get the crowd involved.
No, you're twisting it.
You said the crowd doesn't make a difference. Trev, am I wrong? Did he not say that?
It's on film. We can go back and look at it.
Yeah.
Okay. And I don't think I did. I didn't say a blanket statement. Crowds don't make a difference. A visiting crowd into another team's stadium does not affect the outcome of the game. That's what I said.
Okay.
He's clarifying it. He had a backtrack just a little bit there. You two got pretty heated here. Yeah, little Ron Rivera. He got on that bicycle, started backpedaling a little bit. Let's see how far he can backpedal on this bet.
Hey, what do I stand on Dolla?
Last week you had a pretty good week, actually.
Yeah. See how y'all after the first game, did y'all hear how they came out? Oh, you're a -5. They couldn't wait to tell me. Now I gotta ask how I did, and it's you had a pretty good week.
You're +2.
Oh, hold on, Trey. We went over on Monday.
Oh, I wasn't here.
So we talked all about it on Monday. Yeah. What was the difference? Somebody wasn't there on Monday. Yeah. That's why.
I'll have to go back and watch this.
But if you look at, we're going to get into the Dolla, but if I'm looking at all the score predictions from last week.
Yeah.
And we had 3 people pick Detroit, and we had like 25 people pick Washington.
Mm-hmm.
And now what do we got? We got it flipped all because of one game. So
it's not about one game for me.
Well, why did everybody pick Washington?
Because
last week against Detroit?
Because they're coming off a win.
No,
because
Detroit also was coming off a loss, was one of the worst teams last year.
And it's Detroit.
And it's Detroit. You know, I said nothing comes easy for Washington.
Shout out
Although
to
I should have known
pieces.
because apparently we can't beat Detroit, so I don't know why I just didn't pick Detroit.
Right, I know, right? Shout out to Gregory Pett, who last week picked Detroit, and also Grandizer 12 picked Detroit, and Shady Katie, who's not here tonight, but Shady Katie picked Detroit. Everybody else picked Washington. This week, a whole nother story. Let's get to Dolla now.
I will hope to be wrong on that one. You two had a heated discussion in the game over how many points would be scored by Philadelphia. You guys need to set the line here. Stoner wants it at 36. You want it at 30, Trev.
No,
meet in the middle. Meet in the middle.
No, he said
What?
He said they're just going to get better and better and better. They're going to improve because that's how it works. So 36 is the floor. It should be. I should be given like 38 or 40 because his theory is all this they're going to do is get better and better and better. So 36 is as low as I'm willing to go.
All right, I'll go 36.
36?
Nah, I can't do that because my score prediction is 33-30.
Yeah, right.
You can don't forget that there's no dollar on the score prediction. That's just that's a whole other thing there.
Yeah.
You think he's 36 points? You won't go lower than 36? Why not?
No, because I just told you because your theory is that
fine 36. 36.
Right.
I'm gonna leave you to that grudge match there and stay out of it. So, and has nothing to do with the fact that I was -3 this last week.
He's got -3. I've got -4.
Yeah, we talked about your math being wrong. You're at -3 now, and I'm at 0, and Stoner is at +3. That's what I'm showing.
Keep hating on Stoner and all his great predictions. I'm the only one in the positive.
Well, Stoner, why don't you go ahead and give us our first Dolla bet here for the day? These are our prop bets. No money's actually exchanged. If you do bet, please bet responsibly. We don't have a sponsor to dish out here for a betting site, but it could potentially happen maybe later. But these are just fun things for us. Prop bets, kind of off the wall type things too. So, Stoner, go ahead and hit us with one.
Carson Wentz. Over 275 passing.
I like the over. I'll take the over. Trev.
Yeah, I'll take the over.
All right, no, we're all with you on that one. Let's hear from the chat. Do you guys think that he's moving it up the line? Yes. How many yards is Carson Wentz going to get in this game? You know, a lot of these score predictions are pretty high scoring. So you got to figure yards got to come with that. Maybe not. Jared Goff had only like 200 something yards with those 4 touchdowns.
He was garbage.
He was not great.
Benjamin St. Juice records an interception.
All right. Trev says St. Juiced INT.
I'll go against him. I don't want to, but I'll take the action. How's that?
I'll take the action as well.
Gregory, 2 touchdowns and over 100 yards for Goddard.
I mean, I'll bet my 401k that he doesn't do that.
No, he doesn't do that.
He's not doing. I mean, you know what kind of day a guy's got to have for 2 touchdowns and over 100 for a tight end? I mean, that's
Tony Gonzalez type stuff.
Right, that's Greg Kittle. That's Travis Kelce type.
Yeah, that's Travis Kelce type territory.
But I mean, he's obviously capable, but no chance.
No.
All right. Yeah, we're all going to go against that. Jalen Hurts, no rushing touchdowns for Meta-4.
Oh, he's going to have a rushing touchdown.
Yeah.
No, he's not.
You think he's no? Trev, you're going to say no? I'm going to say he has at least 1 running touchdown.
He's not doing it.
So Stoner and I are on that one. Trev is there. We got finally getting some yardage markers here for Carson Wentz. Bonafide picker 305. Corey Lott has 330. Gregory, I trust me. I'm with you that Goddard's going to give us problems. I think you went a little too high. You got to go a little bit lower to get the actions on
I got one.
Now.
All right, Trip. I'm writing it down because somebody's taking the bet. I already know this.
Antonio Gibson fumbles on Sunday.
Ooh.
Loses it.
Loses
so
it.
A lost fumble? Not just fumbles the ball.
Nah, he loses it.
Gibson lost fumble. He's not going to fumble.
Yeah, I'm with Stoner on this one.
It's division.
I'd even be willing to make a bet. I'll make a bet, a season-long bet. Antonio Gibson has a total of 2 lost fumbles for the season.
I'll take that. He'll have more than that.
Write that one down. Season-long
I'll have
bet.
3.
I'll lose it. I'll lose this. We'll forget all about it because the season ends in January for crying out loud.
No, if he fumbles and loses it more than 2, the bet's over.
Yeah, that's true.
I'll remind you. I'll stay out of this one too.
What?
I'll stay out of this one.
Okay.
I'm looking up the weather for Sunday. It looks like
supposed to be perfect, right? 80
it is
sunny?
80 degrees, 37% chance of showers right now. Is the weather planned for this game? So
game 1 was like 75% chance of showers, and it didn't rain the whole game.
Yeah, I'm going to stick with the no fumble there for Antonio Gibson.
All right, I got one for you.
Okay.
Dax Milne has a kick return over 25 yards.
I'm with you.
I'm with you, Stoner. He's due for one.
All right.
He's due for one.
Yeah, like a 30-yard last game, right?
He's gonna catch it just inside the line there, and then run it out to 25.5 yards.
Joey Sly makes at least 2 field goals.
I agree.
Not extra points.
The game.
2 field goals. Period. At least 2 field goals.
I'll take the action.
All right. Stone, and you're with me, Trev?
Yeah, I'm with you.
That used to be a curse, but it's not anymore.
What used to being with you? Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I'm with you.
Jahan Dotson makes it 3 games in a row with the tutty.
Who's saying that? You?
I'm saying that.
Yeah, he's not. I'll take that. I'll take that bet.
He's not scoring this game?
No, he's not scoring this game.
I don't think he's scoring this game either.
All right, I got 2 people there.
Hold on,
who's with me on Jahan Dotson scoring another touchdown? Gregory says he misses 3. Sly misses 3 of those kicks.
Point of contention.
Yeah.
Does it have to be a receiving touchdown or any touchdown?
Any touchdown.
Okay. Just want to make sure that's clarified. Now,
anytime touchdown, Jahan Dotson.
Dotson, TD. Me and Trevor against that.
Metaphor's going even all the way to 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, he's not doing that. He's
Ron
going to
Rivera goes after 2-point conversion, Wentz fumbles. See truth, man. That's specific and vicious.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to he's gonna go through a little slump. Dotson is. He's gonna go through
starting now.
Yeah, starting this game. He's going about 3 or 4 games where he's going to be.
How did we go from unstoppable offense from Stoner to one of our
this guy
wide receivers going
because we still got McLaurin, we still got Samuel, we still got Gibby, we still got Logan, we still got McKissick.
All right. Well,
Gregory
says this is McLaurin's game.
I kind of think it is.
All right. Well, go ahead and give me your prediction for McLaurin. What do you think he's going to end up here with?
I think McLaurin will have
5 catches, 62 yards.
That's what I'll take over on both.
Over 5 catches and
over 62. Trev has McLaurin.
I like the over on catches.
5 catches.
You know what? I'm with Stoner on this one. Maybe I'm the jinx this year. We'll see.
It's in the numbers.
5 catches, 62 yards. We'll see here. Yeah, Doug, I think that's fair. A TD slump, not a receiving slump. I still think that he's going to be very.
he's not going to
aggressive
have 1 catch for 7 yards.
Yeah,
but he's just not going to get in the end zone. That's all.
407's here with the defense gets 2 picks.
I mean, that's not happening. So it's just not.
Picking off Jalen Hurts twice? You don't think that's going to happen?
I'll go with your 407 ski lot.
Trev is already in the books for one.
We ball hawking on Sunday.
All right.
I got St. Juice getting one.
Nathan, which side are you on?
Can I tell you guys
I'm going to take the under on that one. I think that we can pick them off once, but twice I feel like we're not going to have that kind of opportunity there.
Tell you guys
I agree, Doug. If they get 2 picks, we're good there. Over under on Wentz 4 tutties, 4 touchdowns.
Under,
yeah, I mean you're definitely under that.
All right, we're all on the under there, Mike.
So my Madden franchise mode right now, I'm using the Commanders. And I'm leading the league in interceptions with Kendall Fuller.
You would be. You of all people.
I really am. He's good on the game. Unfortunately, it's not real life.
All right, here's a yardage one, and McLaurin 60+ yard touchdown burning sleigh, just like he always does. I'm not going to go with that one, but
I'm not touching that one.
I am going to give a yardage one. Washington's defense gives up less than 4 plays of 40 yards or more.
Of course.
Woo!
They've been getting burned. This is a team who
that's what you call 4 plays of 40+ yards is called an outlier. Okay, that happens very rarely in football games in the NFL. Very rare.
We allowed 6 last week.
No,
it was actually 2 plays of 50, and then 3 were 25 and larger, is what it was. I think.
So you're saying we're not going to allow.
All right. I'll drop the number.
No. What was it?
I said 4 plays of 40 yards or more. They're not going to allow more than
on
4.
offense, or can that? What if they have a 45-yard interception return?
No.
What if they have
the defense will hold Philadelphia to no more than 4 plays of 40 yards or more.
So just offense. Then.
I'm going against that.
Not special.
I'm going against that.
Got it.
I got.
Do you think they'll have more explosive plays than that?
Yes.
Mike says at least 3 over 40.
Yeah, for sure.
So you
Brown
guys are together.
Yards after catch, a bomb to Smith or Watkins is 2, and Hurts is going to run for another 2.
So Stoner, you're with me?
No, Trev's with you. I thought.
No,
Trev's against me. He's saying that they're going to have more than 4, and I'm going to say that they're 4 less.
Oh, you're saying 4 less?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you said they're going to have at least 4.
No, they're going to hold them to
of course
4
they
or
are.
less.
Yeah, of course
there you go. Well, we got Trev to bet against it. Let's see how it goes.
You know me.
All right. Giovanni wants to see our running back break through their defense. Stoner, you got anything on Gibson there? You got any feelers for how he's going to play?
Nope, I'm out.
You're out on Gibson outside of that 1 touchdown. Bona fides with me on that one.
I'm just out on Dolla. My head hurts.
Your head hurts? All right. Well, we will be live streaming the game, so you can catch us on Sunday, where we will have the game on and provide you play-by-play and commentary. I will be there at the beginning. I will have to step out. I do coach my son's soccer team. He's got a game at 4. I looked at the schedule, and it is brutal, guys. Lots of Sunday games. Lots of Sunday games. So we'll figure it out, though.
Is there a way you can get fired?
Yeah.
I'll send my assistant coach.
Or put the kid up for adoption.
Yeah, I mean, that's good. I mean, you might. That's a good idea. Or bring your equipment to the soccer games and do the show, and let EP coach the game, and we'll do that.
Yeah, we'll definitely have to figure it out there, because there are way more. Like half the teams on the list had Saturday games. Like all their games are on Saturday. All of my games on Sunday. I'm like, come on.
They
what are you doing?
What are you
doing?
Or what you do is you take your hose, right? You put it up on the roof, and you let the water flow over the front window, and you go and out to the foyer. Sorry, it's raining.
It's
No
raining.
game today. Sorry.
Yeah.
I mean, look at it come down.
It is a crying shame. I love my family, and I love them more than this football team. But I will say that it does agitate me that there's all these Sunday games here. Yep, TV on the side, 105. Yeah, it's the wrong kind of football. I'm telling you, man, when I looked, I was hoping because there was a lot of Saturday games and all these games on Sunday at like 1 o'clock, 4 o'clock. I got a couple noon games, so I might be able to get back just in like the first quarter, but it's brutal.
Why could they do that? Like when I played soccer, I was at 9 o'clock in the morning, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock.
Yeah.
Gus Bus with
there you go.
You could just start coaching in the second half like Scott Turner did.
There you go.
Yeah.
Something of
good
the
zing
sorts.
to finish it off.
Well, we'll have some more Dollas come game time.
I need them.
Something when Stoner's brain doesn't hurt as much. But we're going to go ahead and close this one out. We appreciate everyone jumping in the chat and having some fun with us. There was a lot of you there, so we do appreciate that. Make sure that you've liked this video, subscribe to the channel, and until next time,
beat the Eagles.
Be a fan.